Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Rayleigh. The campaign is spawned of Azathoth. It was written by Doc Ferber, and our game master is John Hook. This is episode 20. Our recap will be given by Josh Harwood as his character, Dr. Arlo Augustine III. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Josh?
Thanks, Tom. Wow, what a strange journey I've been on. A non-believer who was poor patients I sent to the madhouse, and they weren't mad. Maybe a little, but not as mad as I thought they were. And we got back from the observatory, and a few things happened. Mr. Baxter left his job, retired. Dr. Long decided to try and get a job for Miss Thomas, but he got fired in the process. I have if I get through this, I may have a job for them too, if they need a job, that is. And then Zeno, I still think there's something not right about him, but he's not as mad as I thought he was. And Cuthbert, my dear friend, on our boat trip to the Andaman Islands, well, on the way to Calcutta, I told him, well, I showed him my scars, my unusual scarring, and he was shocked, very shocked. I've come to live with them, I have. They caused me a bit of pain here and there. And when we got to Calcutta, we had to go through customs. Everyone got what they needed through. Well, not everyone, but I got everything I needed through. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And some thieving scoundrels took off with a few bits and bobs. None of my concern. I still have all my stuff. So, but as I said, all that matters. And yes, the rest went to the red market or whatever. I assume they bought some nice things and didn't get scammed by anyone or anything like that. Who knows? And then there's me, right now, writing this to myself. All went swimmingly, and it happened. What's going on? Those things, have they always been a part of me? I don't know. When did this happen? How did this happen? Maybe it was years ago. Maybe, who knows? But I have to learn to live with them. They seem to stop me from falling. They help my fall. They seem to respond to things. I just hope they don't come out in front of the rest. I don't want to scare anyone. I could be shot. I could be killed. People call me a freak. I could end up in an asylum or on a freak show or something, and I don't know what to do. Maybe Cuthbert will understand. He's always been rational. He can help me. But I need to rest. I need to rest.
All right. Excellent. Well, you are resting and recovering in the hotel in Calcutta. Everyone has returned from the market with all of your newfound acquisitions. And it is the dawn of a new day. You are in Calcutta.
What do we know about the Andaman Islands?
You do know that they are under British rule, that they are considered part of the Indian territories. It is typically used as like a penal colony. It is incredibly wild. It is a tropical jungle. It's a series of islands that are tropical jungle islands. The major port is Port Blair, and it's under British rule. And there is, a British presence at Port Blair. And I think you guys would already know that Cynthia Baxter is, just as to refresh you as players and as characters and listeners, that Cynthia, she runs a mission that is on an island known as South Andaman. The islands, there's, like I said, there's a chain of islands, and the largest ones have the incredibly descriptive names of North Andaman, South Andaman. There's also Middle Andaman. And there's even a Little Andaman, and then there's a few other islands that are basically nameless, or they probably have names, but just for the locals. But as far as the map is concerned, they're basically nameless. So Port Blair is probably if you take a boat, which is probably how you have to get there, you're not aware of any kind of airfield, especially at this day and age. Port Blair is where you need to go, and then from there get passage to the mission.
How large are these islands? Are they large islands or
no? They're I mean, if it wasn't for the dense, thick jungle, they would be, you could probably walk the long length of each of the islands in a single day. So comparatively small islands, but travel is slow due to the incredibly dense jungle.
So several miles across then.
Several miles across. Obviously, they're longer north-south than they are east-west. But yeah.
Okay, and Port Blair, that's on the South Andaman.
That's on South Andaman, and it's also at the southern tip of South Andaman.
Did any of people before I returned from the Dreamlands had nipped some of Philip Baxter's belongings from his home before the conflagration? I believe that some of Cynthia's correspondence survived. So we probably have some idea beyond Port Blair where her mission is located. Does that sound like what you recall?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everybody, but you're the arbiter.
Yeah, it's y'all's recollection from those notes that the mission is on South Andaman.
And we're afraid of cannibals, which is why we all have acquired firearms.
Yes. Yes. If you wanted to acquire steak sauce, you could have done that, but firearms are good.
I got a machete, which I think is the preparation step before you add the sauce. So, if somebody else wants to bring the sauce.
Are there boats from Calcutta to the Andamans, or do we have to go somewhere in India before we catch a boat?
So do you spend some of your time researching that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't take much. You can, talk to the hotel concierge, and they tell you that no, getting from Calcutta to Port Blair is easily a 2-day voyage, but no one ever travels from Calcutta to Port Blair. You could travel from Calcutta to Rangoon, and then from Rangoon go south to Port Blair.
Would these be like tramp steamers, or like a little bit better quality, or?
You can get to Rangoon with pretty much any kind of shipping. The rail does not go through, so overland travel would probably be difficult. There is the Himalayas are blocking that. So yeah, you can take any kind of ship will get you to Rangoon, and then from Rangoon down to Port Blair, it's going to be a tramp steamer.
So the thing is to find a solid British travel agent here who can book those things for us. After all, Myron Dexter has means.
Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's a date. Should be,
So is Myron Dexter / Philip Baxter gonna look for that British travel agent?
Yeah.
Give me,
presumably, again, the concierge can advise.
yeah, give me a credit rating roll, please.
That's a regular success. Wasn't a very good roll.
No, it's good. You found a reputable, what you believe is a reputable travel agent. They have a pretty nice, clean office in a well populated area of Calcutta. And so, yeah, so the agent works with you and is able to get you passage aboard a regular passenger liner that leaves in 2 days to Rangoon, and then from there he's able to further arrange a tramp steamer that will leave the very next day to take you to Port Blair, and he also gives you some information and says that he will contact ahead and radio ahead to Major Nichols, who is in charge of the British presence there at Port Blair, and that way he can be ready and waiting for you.
Very good. And so, of course, I supply the number of our party and its makeup for all that, and I guess we'll need overnight accommodations in Rangoon if there's something he could recommend there. And I wonder if we should equip ourselves for the wilds of the Andamans here, or if we can do that adequately at Rangoon.
Rangoon's a fairly large city, so
we won't have much time in Rangoon, will we?
And we have 2 days here, so.
Yeah, we might as well get what we can here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, look, and we have chicken barbecue sauce as well. I think that'll be good. I think we'll be hard pressed to find beef barbecue sauce in India.
True.
Right, or for that matter, much in the way of pork, although I understand that human flesh is more porcine.
Oh.
Tastes like pig.
See what the ingredients are in here.
Is it Major Nichols that telegraphed me about Cynthia's possible capture? Telegraphed Philip Baxter sometime ago?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And right. So yeah, I guess I'll ask, since we will be buying most of our kit here, since our time in Rangoon might be short. What do you recommend for? I'm going to be trying to visit my daughter's mission, which is on South Andaman, where she has been stationed for some time, working with native groups. Is this the sort of thing where we should
brave
take
of her.
pack mules? She's my children are all very willful and brave types. I mean, my adopted children. Myra Dexter adopted Philip Baxter. It's a long story.
Yes, of course.
So is this the sort of thing where we take pack mules? Or is this fully a do we trudge through the jungle in our boots and helmets?
Oh, I have heard that the jungles are very dangerous and very difficult to traverse. But definitely Major Nichols, that would be his area of expertise. You should definitely confer with him. That unfortunately is not something that my office can provide you with and assist you with.
Understand perfectly. It's an unusual trip we're taking.
Indeed.
All right. So I'll tell the others at the hotel what the plans are.
So we have to speak to him then.
Nichols?
Doesn't it seem to me one goes on safari, one takes porters along to carry the stuff, and a couple of big beefy men to
these islands don't seem terribly big.
Yeah, we may not need lengthy journeys once we're on there.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm not really in the muscular chopping through the jungle for 12 hours kind of person.
Well, I'm more concerned about the lack of roads or clear, directional information. I don't know whether Cynthia's mission is in a stationary location or where she travels around in her work and all that.
Well,
but
if it's a mission, wouldn't she have to have built a little church or something? A little schoolhouse for the natives?
Missionaries operate in various ways depending on the circumstances. I think in one of her letters she said something about dealing with more than one indigenous group. So
maybe there's a road.
At least seasonally. But presumably Nichols can provide us with trustworthy staff more than the crooks at the office here who sent us out with those hooligan boys.
Yeah. Especially for a guide. We definitely need a guide or two.
I'm sure it will be all okay. I'm
people
sure.
To carry our stuff. Can't drag our stuff through the jungles.
Cornelius is going to need someone just to carry a stash of crane tea.
People have to be bringing, tea, food.
I was just thinking of maybe just one case of crane tea. Leave the other 3 back in the hotel room here.
Well, I don't know about Cuthbert, but we were used to carrying a lot back in the day.
Yeah. But crane tea, the only thing that stuff's good for is for reenacting the Boston Tea Party. I don't know why anybody would drink it.
It's really not that bad once you get used to it. You just, if you put enough sugar and cream in it, it starts to become palatable.
It's all right.
It tastes more like the dirt they grow tea in.
On the plus side, I did manage to get my rifle into this country,
I'm just thinking it's going to be hot, wet, and rainy. It is the tropics. It's going to be digging through a jungle. We're definitely going to need some assistance, some people. We're not physically fit enough to do all of that. And I'm sure that the military fellow will know what to do.
Yes. At all. We do need to be careful, though. We are going into rough territory. Obviously, this man will be able to help us, but he might be able to help us, but probably not too much. We'll have
what
to.
does it seem like they should be getting regular supplies? So there may just be a caravan that goes back and forth.
Possibly.
Get in with that.
It depends, though. It depends on how the mission's actually gone. There might not be too much communication.
Would it be worth procuring here tents and nets that keep the bugs out?
Yeah.
There may not be buildings for us to stay in there. I don't think they're... This place is not a popular tourist destination. They're probably not accustomed to guests.
Yeah. We should kit out like we're going on a camping trip. Bedrolls and such. Do you think we should get a couple porters here where we could maybe vet them, or do you think Rangoon would be better?
I think we should have that lieutenant. He would know who you can trust. I forget what kind of military man is he?
Major Nichols?
The major.
Oh, he's the commander at Port Blair?
I mean, he would know. At least he could give us a recommendation for who's trustworthy in the area.
Yes.
I doubt he would dispatch anyone from his military unit with us.
If he recommends a rather small man who has very well-trained elephants, I think it's best if we get on a boat and immediately depart.
Well, Frederick, I hate to say it, but we don't know who that man is in this world. He could be quite different than we expect, just like the priest's assistant.
This world or the one in dreams. I hope he's dead.
Well, in the dreamlands, do you die in the real world, or do you just snap back here?
Well, Cornelius's leg gave him quite a deal of trouble after his injuries there. I can't imagine what dying would cause. I mean, if losing a limb there freezes the limb, I mean, having your heart frozen for any length of time.
It didn't seem to do Myron any good.
Have you never died in a dream?
Can't say I have.
But I have at least twice.
I always wake up.
Yeah, you wake up. I've actually gone a little beyond that and dreamed that I was a ghost walking about in the night.
Yes, some dreams.
But I don't know, that maybe for all we know, dreams may be something completely different than what we actually experience. An alternate reality.
But anyway, Major Nichols should be trustworthy because of his stature. He's highly. He must be highly regarded. He's a major, for Christ's sake. So,
of course.
Have we brought Edith to the Dreamlands at all in the time since we left Montana?
I'd assume maybe you just filled me in, but didn't take me there.
Probably sounds like the Wizard of Oz.
Let's go on a day trip to the Dreamland.
Ulthar is lovely this time of year.
We do have, friends in high places in Ulthar. But I imagine getting Edith to drink some weird elixir that we said took us to another world. It takes some convincing.
It's modern times. People drink strange things all the time to send them to different worlds. I'm a little wary of that because I've got a spider queen probably waiting for me, wondering where I went.
Unearned wages. So I think we'll ask the concierge again for recommendations of an equipment outfit where we can buy some, rudimentary but reliable oiled canvas tent and that sort of thing. Stuff that we can have bundled together onto a boat that won't, delay us enormously.
Who is going to lead the charge on trying to find and buy equipment? It could be more than one of you, but who's the one who's asking the questions and trying to find the right establishment?
Cornelius, you've been in the military, haven't you?
Oh, yes, I have.
You probably know the kind of gear that we would need.
Yes. Both, Dr. Augustine and I were both served.
Yes, I can assist you, Cuthbert, in negotiations.
Does anyone have a survival jungle skill?
Oh,
you failed to tell us that we would need that when we were making our character.
I happen to have a survival skill of 10.
I'm quite good at dreaming.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, then, Cornelius, Cornelius, why don't you give me a credit rating roll as you inquire with the locals on where to find good equipment.
Maybe that should have been me.
Wow, yeah. I was fearing a luck roll, but no, credit's even worse. Look at that. Nice, solid, missed by 50 points.
You are directed to an establishment. You do get a little bit of the heebie-jeebies as this area of town seems to be a little more on the rougher side, but you're able to get in there. Who all goes with you for that?
I will be with him. I'll be with him.
I like the markets. I'll go with him. I'm not sure what help I'll be, but
all right. You three, anybody else?
I should have been leading. I have 75 credit rating.
Well, hey.
Actually, I take that back. The way I will contribute is you can't just accept the price that they give you. You have to haggle down.
Yeah.
I'm very good at haggling.
Edith was good at that too. Frankly, dealing with the transit has been enough bureaucracy for me for the time being. I'm going to find a cool veranda and a fruity beverage.
I also don't have any clothing, so I don't trust you all to outfit me in something that fits. So I will be going along as well.
Excellent.
I have the clothes on my back, Zeno. Goodness.
I think Baxter has the right idea with the shade and the fruity beverage.
All right. So we have Edith and Zeno and Arlo and Cornelius going to get equipment and other essentials for the group. Of the four of you, who has the lowest luck roll?
I have 63 luck. So
I have 58.
I'm actually not bad. Yeah.
Is
60 the lowest between all three of us?
No. I am here chiming in with 32.
Oh,
32. All right.
That's
Cornelius,
better
please,
than my credit rating.
Please
Cornelius, wouldn't you like a fruity drink?
Please give us a group luck roll, Cornelius.
All right. Let's see. We'll take one of those and one of those and two of those. Let's see. A 12.
Very good.
Well, my ones die. It fell into the drawer, but it landed as a 2. So a 10 and a 2 for 12. Do I need to re-roll?
No, I'll take it.
Whew.
The drawer is a very large dice tray. I like it.
I'm very happy for that catch. Yes.
That's fantastic.
That's
so
a
you
hard
guys,
luck also, by the way.
You guys, now, unless someone really wanted to try and use some kind of negotiation skill, the luck roll will help you guys get a pretty decent price on this equipment. That doesn't seem too shabby. Not too bad. But it has all the essentials that you feel like you need. Plenty of clothing. And this isn't just one single shop. This is a few in this little market area. You're able to acquire the equipment you need for an overland expedition. So.
Excellent. Bedrolls, gloves, clothing for Edith. Maybe... Yep. Should we get some rope by any chance, just in case we might need to tie some food up? Or
so if it's within reason, you have already picked it up.
Excellent.
You mean tie up Philip again? One never knows when one must tie up one's comrades.
Little tiki mug, maybe, perhaps.
All right. So unless anybody has anything that they're looking to pursue or do, the 2 days pass and you guys are able to, you've already booked and paid through the travel agent. You've paid for your voyage to Rangoon. You've paid for the hotel in Rangoon, and they've even been able to arrange the tramp steamer and passage aboard that to Port Blair. So does anyone have anything that they really want to try and pursue and do during these days in Calcutta, Rangoon, or on board ship to either location, to include to Port Blair?
I think we should have a conversation about the unusual texts that we have, whether we should lock them up at the King's Hotel here for safekeeping, or whether, if there's any chance we dare experiment with them, we need to bring them along. And other than that,
severely damaged by the humidity in the jungle.
Yeah, is there some sort of safety deposit box or something like that in the hotel we could lock these items up in?
There is. You can purchase it by the week and have things secured.
Yeah, we'll need secure hotel storage for other things that we're not taking with us anyway.
Oh,
we should be traveling light and rough.
By the way, was there a chance to maybe secure one more box of ammunition for my M1922?
Yeah, give me a luck roll.
All righty, I guess that's 45.
Nobody seems to have any.
5 rounds? Okay. All right, no worries. I still have some.
Given what happened when we were well prepared for a trip in a pickup truck, I don't think there's any reason to over-prepare.
Yeah.
I never got to use that shotgun once.
I have my rifle and my sidearm, so we should, my revolver, so we'll be fine.
I assume we have at least 3 new machetes from yesterday's shopping for, immediate combat or travel needs. So yeah, I just want to have the hotelier in Rangoon recommend a good restaurant, because one doesn't often get food from this far from home.
Yes,
and we should get as much sleep as we can, because we're going to be uncomfortable probably.
You're here.
Yes, I haven't had the best of sleep recently. But yes, local cuisine. I always like trying local cuisine every time I go to a new place. So yes, we should definitely do that.
Excellent.
And it's on me as well, everyone, don't worry.
Arlo, thank you.
Yeah, I'm a man with more money than sense, so.
Fantastic. All right. So you guys have traveled by boat to Rangoon. You've had an excellent meal, in Rangoon. Very authentic, very native. And the day after that, you boarded the tramp steamer and you're heading south into the Indian Ocean towards the Andaman Islands.
Yes, I will take Cuthbert to one side when we are on here, maybe after a few hours, somewhere a bit private for me and Cuthbert to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Arlo.
Cuthbert, I haven't had a chance to speak since the others, but Something's happening, Cuthbert.
Did you go see a doctor like I suggested?
Sort of. Sort of.
Well, rest assured, I haven't told anyone else. I'm not going to embarrass you amongst friends, but definitely you need to get that looked at professionally.
I think there's something inside of me, Cuthbert.
Like deep emotions, torment from the war?
No, not human.
Well, really, Arlo, we all have some dark, horrible feelings from time to time. It's quite human.
Cuthbert, I don't know if I was imagining it. I couldn't have been. Surely I can't be that delusional. And it was real, but something came out of my back, Cuthbert.
Are those incisions? Are they weeping with something?
I don't know.
Does it need to be bandaged?
I don't know, Cuthbert. It hurts, and it hurts, and it still hurts, and it pains me, and I don't know what to do, Cuthbert.
Well, we should have a look at this. I've got to see if this is getting infected.
No.
Okay.
Don't. No. If it happens again, and what if it hurts? What if you're hurt, Cuthbert? I can't deal with that. No, you will not look at them. You will just trust that I don't know if this could be my last voyage, Cuthbert. I don't know.
Trust me. I mean, it's
strange.
As unpleasant as it is, I've seen plenty of horrors in the war, and I can see a bad wound. If this is getting nasty, I think someone should have a look at this.
Cuthbert, no, you will not look. I do have one question. If something bad happens, if something happens to me, if I become something I am not meant to be, you will shoot me, Cuthbert. You have to promise you will kill me.
Man. For an injury or a wound. What are you talking about?
Please, Cuthbert. You've seen a lot of mad things. You've seen a lot of crazy things, but please, as an old friend, if something bad happens, if I become something I am not, shoot me. Please, my friend. Promise me.
Okay, well, bearing in mind what happened to those creatures back in Montana as they got infected and rabid, if something like that happens to you and you seem to be gone beyond all hope, then I will do that for you.
Thank you, my friend. Anyway, let's go have some crane tea.
Well, let's make sure we don't get to anything this drastic, Arlo.
I'm sure we won't, Cuthbert. I'm sure we won't. But crane tea first.
Crane tea first. Glad someone likes it. It's really not that bad once you get past the first 5 or 6 cups.
Yes, it's not bad at all.
Especially the canned version, yes.
All right. After about a 6-hour voyage, and you've been seeing off the side to the west, you've seen islands, the dark green stripe near the horizon that are these islands, but the ship never directed towards those. And it just kept going south for about 6 hours. And then finally kind of started curving and pulling into the west. And one of those green dots starts getting closer and closer and closer. And there you see ahead of you a port. And as you begin to pull up, you can see lots of activity. And you see lots of people. You see Indian people. You see some other you assume are possibly natives of the islands. They seem to be of a slightly shorter stature, slightly darker complexion. moving on the ports, and then there are also some what are clearly British nationals walking around as well when the ship docks. So as you guys are disembarking, there's no, there's no kind of customs, right? There's no customs that you have to go through. You just kind of disembark, and you're walking on the decking as you're heading into the port, into the city there, the little town. And there is a gentleman with a very large smile. He has a pencil thin mustache. He seems to be smiling so big because his teeth seem overly large for his mouth, and so it's almost like his teeth are kind of pushing his skin out into a perpetual smile. But as he sees you guys coming off the ship, you're the only passengers who are coming off of this thing. There is some cargo that's being taken off, but y'all are the only passengers. And the gentleman walks up, and he has a kind of an older uniform on, and he comes up, and he's got this bright, cheery smile, and he gives that British salute, and he says, "Good day to you. I am Major Ashley Nichols, BFO. Welcome to Port Blair."
Oh, pleased to meet you. It's quite the little island you got going on here.
Ah, yes. Well, welcome. Oh, ma'am, lady. And he approaches Edith and starts taking your bags from you. He says, "Let's get you settled in now. Come along. And he says, "Yes, right this way. Come along." And as he starts grabbing bags, some more other people kind of just run up, and they start grabbing bags, and just this whole parade of people with all your bags are kind of heading into Port Blair.
And what's Port Blair look like fresh from the dock?
Port Blair is very sparse. There's a lot of, they look like they're old military buildings. They look like some of those kit buildings that are just kind of erected, and they're probably being used for a time period that greatly exceeds their design for when they were supposed to be used for. But yeah, there's just a collection of these like little military buildings, and they're all of them are just a single story. And he's smiling brightly, and he keeps looking back to make sure you guys are all keeping up. Yes, oh, excellent, come along. And as he's leading y'all to this like a corrugated metal building, and some of the other people rush forward and start pulling open the door, and just everyone starts parading right into this building.
I think they get a lot of tourists in these parts.
So I was
a real novelty.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see buildings.
We haven't found the toilets yet.
Well, we'll count one blessing at a time, Dr. Zeno.
Major Nichols is leading you guys into this building, and as you go inside, it's basically open. All the complete building's open on the inside, and it's basically a barracks. There's just cots laid out and spaced out evenly. There's a few foot lockers, and he says, "It's by Jove, it's not the Ritz, but it will do in a pinch, won't it? Ma'am, we'll have you set up in your own personal tent."
Thank you very much.
Better than the trenches.
We did bring some supplies, as we don't know ourselves how much we're going to be investigating your handsome jungle island, Major.
Thank you. We're very proud of it ourselves.
By any chance, do you know the mission that Cynthia Baxter heads?
Oh yes. I've only met her on a couple of occasions, but yes, that mission. It's a bit to the north. Yes, quite a walk. But don't you worry. I have a couple of young men ready to help you out. Good lads.
Is there a road?
Excellent.
Very good. You are a very funny person. Yes, indeed. No roads. No, it's a very thick jungle.
Trails.
Yes, you shall be blazing your own. Don't you know?
Tigers?
Pardon?
Are there any wild animals? Tigers?
Oh yes. Well, there are no tigers. No tigers. That's but there are a few jaguars, and there are a number of other insects that are. But don't worry. You'll be perfectly safe. Usually, it's only the very young or the very old who succumb to the insects, and you look fit as a fiddle.
The fellows you're going to send with us to find the mission, are they your men or local folks?
Well, yes, men under my charge for sure. Yes, indeed, definitely good men. Earning their way back to society. Don't you know? Very good men. Good men.
How long have you been here, Major?
Well, I think I'm going on close to 10 years now. 10 years.
I'm assuming you have enjoyed every second of it.
Well, I'd like to say that Port Blair wouldn't be what it is without me.
Well, once we are back from our travels, if we have the time, I would definitely like to learn a bit about your time here. It would intrigue me, and maybe get a bit of knowledge on how people who spend a long time in a place like this seem to change.
Oh, well, it'd be my pleasure. Writing a book, are you?
Yeah.
Book?
Yes.
I'd buy that for sure. Yes, excellent.
Yes, sir, I do actually have something for you.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say.
Yes, it will look good on you.
Thrilling. Yes, he accepts the tie and begins to adorn it immediately.
Tell me, did the natives here shrink heads?
Yes, well, I'm sure there are many rumors, but no.
Well, I just
don't
wanted
you...
Dr. Arlo to feel at home. He brought his own Coke Zero.
How many people reside here at Port Blair with you?
Well, we have a staff of 15 on staff. Yes, and there's probably 35 convicts, but all excellent men. And then the natives are difficult to count. Hard to get a solid census, don't you know?
Yes. Are they particularly friendly?
Oh, yes. Well, they are, many of them are converting to Christianity, and so they're quite friendly, quite friendly.
Any issues?
Well, no. Who said there were issues? There are certainly no issues. Everything's fine. Fine. Well, let you get settled in. And Miss Thomas, is it? Yes. We have a tent ready for you, unless you would like to set up your own.
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, then please come right this way. I'll escort you to your tent.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
And so he goes out of the building and then kind of goes around to the opposite side and away about 15 feet or so, and you do see a canvas tent, and it's got a pretty sturdy frame to it. So it's it's probably like a 4-man tent, but you'll have it all to yourself. Although it is probably uncomfortably close to the outhouse, but so he shows you to your tent.
Actually, I was going to ask him, what brings other tourists to this area? I know we're visiting someone, but what brings other people here?
Well, we do get the occasional missionary, and well, and of course we get the convicts who are sent here, so we don't get tourism here in the Andamans, but very pleased to have you. Very pleased indeed.
Right. Great. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't buy a word of this man's gobbledygook.
Yes, I was about to say.
I mean, Baxter's daughter has been kidnapped here, hasn't she? At least briefly?
I think this man, just going by his mannerisms, while I was digging, obviously he's hiding some issues here. I think he has jungle madness. He must do. Jesus Christ.
Well, next time you interact with him, perhaps you should apply some psychology to him, Doctor.
Well.
Give it a go.
Well, of course.
I know just too much about Collins, and he laughs, he smiles, he laughs at just about everything that you say, and then he's going to send us out into the jungle with a bunch of convicts.
Well, didn't you hear the tone of his voice when he said there were no issues, sir? It changed, just slightly. That man. Well, I will press him in a...
He doesn't seem the disciplined man that a major should be. But,
well, maybe this post has fatigued him a bit. He might be lax being stationed out here.
Yes, I was ready for him to burst into song. I am the very model of a modern Major General. But,
well, going from... He's been
guard.
10 years. Been here for 10 years. Any man on a post for that long will go a little bit crazy, but I reckon he might suffer from something I've heard from jungle madness, as I refer to it. But I will have to press, but I'll have to do it in a manner, maybe offer him some crane tea. I'm sure he will love that.
Do we really care? We just want to get where we're going.
No, the issues is if there's something wrong that's happened in the camp here, it could reflect on what happens to us out there.
Well, I'm awfully curious when was the last time they've heard from the missionaries that are here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will maybe... we'll have to have some food with him, drink, and loosen his lips a little.
I think we should sleep with our hands on our daggers.
How close are our accommodations to Edith's?
Only about 15 feet, but it's on the back side, so you'd have to go out the only door.
Okay.
So out the front, and then loop around the building to get to her.
Awesome.
So if there was like a call for help, we could definitely hear it at just 15.
Yes, I would be careful. Like, I know a lot of places take on convicts. We are very... England are very known for taking on convicts for certain jobs and reforming them, but we should be careful, especially Now we have Edith. Some convicts. Yes.
Well, the only thing that I project onto it that doesn't make any sense is convicts would have no particular reason to steal our stuff, because where are they going to go with it? They're convicts on the island, stuck here.
It's not more of a stealing, but
it's not like they can go sell it and go live in a nice house somewhere.
The only thing they're likely to steal is our firearms, because with those they could stage an insurrection against the major. I don't imagine that his position here is exactly the sort of job that you get as a reward for excellence in service.
Not if you're given a convict to look after. He probably did do something honorable to get major, but he might have been sent here to get him out of the way.
But we're also staying in the barracks of his staff. Is that what we understand with the footlockers and the way things are arranged?
And the footlockers are empty. But yeah, something.
Do we get a sense that of his staff of 15, any of them are soldiers? Or does he have a civilian staff?
It looks like he has a civilian staff. He seems to be the only one who seems to be displaying and using a military rank, and his uniform is not exactly up to inspection.
Has anybody ever read Edgar
Especially now with Darlow's tie.
Edgar Allan Poe's Dr. Feather and Professor, was it?
Dr. Tar and Professor Feather.
Yeah. I mean, how do we know that that's really the major? He doesn't act like any military man that I've ever met.
As I have said, Mr. Dr. Saladin, I will give you some respect. I think he might suffer from.
Yes, but you're making excuses for the man. If there was if you were going to meet somebody in the military, you'd expect to meet a military man.
Not necessarily. It depends on the conditions. But I don't trust this man. I don't trust him. I'm not defending him. I'm just stating that he could suffer from something else.
Well, somebody for a deep mistrust, you have just left him alone with Miss Thomas.
Well, he's right over there next to the latrine.
It will be fine. I'm sure it will all be fine.
I'll take a few steps in the direction of Miss Thomas and the major, just to make sure everything's going well.
Well, and I'll step out too. I just want to get the lay of the land. This is a volcanic island? Is it steep? Does the jungle start right away? Is it muddy around this little structure, or is it gravel, or?
I don't think the evidence of a volcanic activity is present. So if these are volcanically formed islands, they are probably millions of years out from that, and so the jungle has consumed everything. It is a hilly. There are hills, but I wouldn't say mountains. And the camp, Port Blair, the docks are the most well kept and well constructed portion of the town. Everything else seems to be these prefab buildings that are erected, and there's just a bunch of them scattered about with signage, on above the doors, to kind of declaring. Since all the buildings pretty much look the same, it's like, which one is which, so you look at the sign that's posted above the door to know, oh, okay, there's the postal exchange there, and oh, that's offices over there, and oh, that says barracks, yours says barracks, so there's a few things. Mess hall, there's a mess hall, so there's a few different buildings scattered about. And then the whole town is surrounded by a wooden fence.
Do we see many of the staff and people, civilians walking about?
Yeah, people are pretty casual walking about, right now, the beehive of activity has been the offloading of the supplies that came on the tramp steamer. And now that the primary unloading from the boat has occurred, now it's the distribution of those supplies to where they need to be stored here in the town. So there's a lot of activity going on with that.
And they look like just ordinary people, nothing particularly off about them.
Yeah, nobody has wings or horns on their heads. They're just people,
Well, not nobody. we just brought a mutant after all. Are they farming? How large is the fenced off area? Are they also growing their own stuff? Or are they totally dependent on what's coming off this ship?
There is some farming, but it is really, really small in like these raised beds. So it's almost like a household garden. But there's not any kind of large scale, sophisticated greenhouse or farming. It doesn't look like the sand. The soil here is probably just too sandy to support. They're really, really, as far as jungle's concerned, you're really close to the shore, so you're not deep into the inland yet.
And Port Blair is entirely fenced off by tall wooden posts, sort of thing.
Yep, a wooden fence. About an 8-foot fence.
Are there guard towers on it?
No guard towers.
They're afraid to keep. Okay.
Keep animals out. Yeah.
Well, Ms. Thomas?
Professor Baxter, I heard you mention something about your daughter having been kidnapped on this island. What were the circumstances of her kidnapping?
Well, I'm fuzzy on the details because I was in fact being tortured in the Dreamlands when word came. But there might be some confusion about the matter. Or no, that was before.
Yeah, it was actually quite a while before.
Did she send the coconuts after her apparent kidnapping?
Yes, the coconuts came fairly recently. But the kidnapping occurred. It is currently 1927. So the kidnapping was probably about 10 years ago.
Oh.
Gosh, she's been here that long.
Natives or these convicts here or something else entirely?
I believe it was the natives when we checked the mail. But the coconuts, which may or may not have contained spiders from beyond all reason.
I hope there's none of those spiders living here in the jungle. Giant jungle spiders. Not a good thing.
I don't like that man, the major.
He's a little too bubbly.
Doesn't feel genuine.
It's off-putting.
Given that I'm sure this is a malarial island, he may have been living on gin and tonic for the last 10 years as well.
I might try something with him as well, just to see if he is who he is. I might try and use a bit of army slang and there's one thing that I like to use, and if he doesn't know it or he doesn't respond to it properly, then I will know there's something.
So
on that front.
Was the daughter, she went out to be a missionary, she got captured by the natives, but then she convinced them through the power of Jesus to let her go, and now she's just a missionary. They didn't eat her, obviously. Is that correct?
I thought it was a conflict between two different tribal groups on the island. Is that?
They both wanted her, or they?
No, Dr. Saladin seems to be remembering it a little better. She was doing missionary work here on South Andaman, and she was kidnapped by the reports from natives from across the strait, so natives from a neighboring island, and they feared that they would never see her again. But then she came back.
She convinced them to let her go because she probably annoyed the hell out of them.
Unusual. Or did something happen to her? With what I've experienced as of late,
I don't know. It was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She's still a native. She's still a missionary.
At least in her letters home, she is.
Yeah.
It's been quite a long time since people have seen her, apparently.
Yeah, what was the date of the last letter she sent?
Oh, there was the coconuts that arrived around the time of Baxter's death.
Okay.
Or supposed death. Because the box had just got there when I carried that box downstairs for poor
the cookie lady.
Was there a note from her in it, or was it just from this island? Theoretically, anyone could have sent that from this island.
So Commissioner, the letter came from a Commissioner Talbot about the kidnapping. That was a while ago.
So, and then Angela asked her to take it downstairs, and you saw desiccated rats in it.
Yeah, but it had recently arrived at the house. It was still upstairs, and the coconuts were still.
Well, we'll have to ask the Major about Commissioner Talbot, I guess.
So.
Or Philip, do you have any recollection from past that fuzzy veil of the last time you actually heard from her?
Keeper, what does Philip recall?
Why don't you give me a no roll?
I know some stuff. 94, I don't know anything.
Yeah, that Swiss cheese brain of yours right now, you just can't recall.
Yeah, what I remember is jumbled up with things that I probably experienced in the Dreamlands and things I've heard.
But everything, between what happened to Angela in Providence and what happened to those folks out in Montana with Dimitri Vasily and Sylvia and I don't know. Everywhere that this has led us so far has been rather unpleasant. So I would think we should steel ourselves for what we might find.
But do you think any of the incidents are actually related? I imagine if the spiders were in the crate and had killed the rats, desiccated them, and escaped into the house, it might just be, the rats got into the box. So for a spider to crawl in there.
Those spiders were mighty industrious. They took over that house.
Well, they were out
quite thoroughly and quickly.
They were kind of out of their natural environment, and that sometimes happens. The animal suddenly has nothing to stop it. But, I mean, don't bananas have spiders that sometimes get in the bananas? And
well, sure, but spiders of that size and that viciousness, I don't know what here would stop them.
I don't know that maybe they don't get that big here. Maybe it was the climate or the weather or something in the house.
If the spiders came with the coconuts at all. That leads me to another question. Are there coconuts here?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think that we're assuming that because those spiders don't come from New England.
No, but I mean Baxter's trips into the Dreamlands. The only other place you've seen a spider so big was there.
You know, honestly, I didn't actually consider that, and I'm really surprised that it's you, Dr. Frederick Long, that's saying that to me. And I hadn't thought of it.
The last several months have been.
You think something crossed over from the Dreamlands? Is that even possible?
Well, we did, didn't we?
That's true.
Although, mind you, we didn't bring any material goods with us. We didn't come back with our robes. We woke up dressed as we were beforehand. Only Cornelius' psychosomatic illness and Myron's death. But neither of those are like, some spider eggs and a pant cuff.
Maybe somebody opened up a doorway somehow that allowed the spiders to come through. It's an interesting speculation. Well, all I can say is that the spiders didn't come from New England.
Right. And perhaps the only one who will ever know is Angela. Who knows what happened in the house before the end.
Let's ask the locals if there are giant spiders here that we need to be careful of. Living in the latrine that's next to Edith.
Or in Edith's tent. Or
in our tent.
Or
under our cots.
In the pillowcase,
I have a feeling that the major would just say, "Oh, mind the spiders," and then just laugh.
I wouldn't be entirely surprised if the major came in here with a large spider on his shoulder and said, "This is my little friend Chucky." The man seems to be a little bit around the bend, but again, he probably was sent here as punishment by some superior, and now he's here where...
Keeper, is the major old?
He's, he's an old,
maybe a little shell-shocked then.
Yeah, he's probably in his 50s.
Oh, okay.
He seems to be in his 50s.
I thought maybe he was on the road to senility. A little too young. I hope I'm not on the road to senility.
Well, I mean, while we're engaging in speculation, perhaps these jaguars of his that stalk the jungles are, in fact, have 8 legs.
8-legged jaguars.
That would make a lovely carpet. Do they have elephants here?
Not on the Andaman Islands.
Well,
how does the jungle outside over the walls sound? Is there is it a really loud, full of life jungle, or is it kind of quiet?
No, it's a living, active jungle. Yeah, it's loud.
So, like birds and just the humming of thousands upon thousands of insects. Is that?
Yeah.
So
you can hear the screeches of birds, a variety of birds.
Monkeys? Are there monkeys here?
Yeah. So I assume questions like this you ask, some of the locals. I mean,
right.
there's people all over the place, and they say, no monkeys, but lots of bird life, lots of snake life, lots of spider life. Lots of insects, lots
spiders.
Of large insects, ants, beetles, spiders, birds, some cats.
Things that we should take. Oh yeah, the giant centipede.
Anything?
How large are these spiders?
Practically everything is venomous on Andaman. some of the staff tell you to be sure to check your boots in the morning, just to be on the safe side
before you stick your foot in there. Yeah.
Yes.
How large are the spiders and the creature and the insects in general? Are they this?
Very few are that large. Very few are that large. Most are just probably as large as your hand. You know,
some are that large.
That's pretty large.
You can see the ones pretty easily when they're as big as your hand. That's the good thing.
Are there any this large?
Very few. Very few.
Okay, so there are some that are okay. That's
but not many. I mean, certainly not very many.
Rather disturbing.
Yes.
Well, we have machetes.
Yeah, but they're quick. They just don't sit there.
They wait for you to fall asleep, Zeno, and then they crawl on you. That is what they do.
What's the biggest creatures you have here? The largest creatures you have here over on these islands?
Certainly the natives, the cannibals, those who haven't, who we haven't reached and haven't converted to Christianity, they're certainly by far the most dangerous. But as far as wildlife goes, I mean, the jaguars, the centipedes, the spiders, the snakes. Wow, the snakes, yeah. There's the crocodiles, although they're not crocodiles. They're caiman. Caiman?
Yes.
Caiman. The caiman.
So everything that moves could kill us. That's always...
Yes.
Probably some of the flora could kill us too.
Yes.
I mean, is there any plants we need to be aware of? Sorry, not for long.
Oh, I was going to say technically anything moving fast enough can kill you. So
very true. Very true.
Do you maintain here at the fort any kind of record of how many missionaries are in the jungle at any given time and where and how they operate?
Well, yeah. I mean, right now the only missionary on record here on South Andaman is Ms. Baxter's missionary. We do have records of that she sends in periodically in the office.
I'd like to look at those. Pass the time before we stop.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Does she come down often to send things, or does she send messages often?
Yeah, the guy, just the regular. You're not talking to Major. Jesus, I forgot. Nichols. You're not talking to Major Nichols right now. You're just talking to one of the guys, and so he says, I've never met her. I mean, she's in the time that I've been here. I've been here 3 years. She's never come to Port Blair. She'll send some of the natives will travel and send word on occasion, but I haven't met her. I know her by reputation.
Does she draw any supplies from the port?
Almost never. Almost never. On occasion, she'll request a new case of hymnals and Bibles, but not often.
Interesting.
Very rugged.
Quite. Right.
Say, are you familiar with the Commissioner Talbot?
I've heard of him, Colonel Talbot. I've heard of him. He used to be in charge.
Used to be.
Yes, I think maybe about almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago. Yeah, he. Well, yeah. I mean, again, doesn't happen often, but he was bitten by a spider while sleeping, and so then Major Nichols was promoted.
Yeah.
He was, he was already a captain. So, but he got promoted and was awarded the. He was the number 2 man here, and then he became number 1.
So he's been here. So he's been in command for 10 years, but he's been here longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's been in command for about 9 years, so he's been here 10 or 11 years.
Wow,
that's quite a long time. How long have you been here?
3. 3. Yep. So I'll be rotating out at the end of the year.
What's it like being here? What is it like serving under the Major?
Oh, he's a pretty good guy. Not too bad.
Any issues you've had while being here? You've been here for 3 years, so any?
Yeah, we convicts come to serve their time. We don't really watch the walls, so sometimes they think they can escape. I'm not sure where they think they're going to go, but we eventually find their corpses eventually, but sometimes we don't find them all, but we find them usually.
Okay. That's well.
Anything in the way of tourism, or is it just missionaries, convicts? No.
Yeah, no tourism. Missionaries, penal colony. That's about it.
I'm actually surprised there aren't more scientific missions. Do you know how many languages are spoken on South Andaman itself?
Oh wow, yeah, I don't know. The natives are known as the Andamanese. They speak Andamanese, and then some of them speak another tongue that I can't locate. But a second language that's more rare. And then, of course, most of our convicts are Indian, so they speak Hindi. Angi. So most of the natives, almost as like a trade language, they speak Andamanese. But there's on South Andaman, there are a few natives that have a different dialect known as Angi.
And between the islands, do natives travel by canoe?
Most of the natives don't do island to island travel by canoe. They'll use their canoes to fish in the open water, in the ocean. No one fishes in the rivers and streams in the island, just due to the piranha and the caiman that stalk the streams on the island. So it's safer to do fishing and diving off the coast. But the natives don't do inter island travel because those territories are protected and held by competitive tribes, so they leave each other well enough alone. And it's interesting that most of these tribes are they're very primitive, almost I would say Stone Age primitive, to the point where one of the things that we do gift the natives is fire. They haven't figured out how to build their own fires, so they, when given a burning brand, they'll covet it and protect it and spread it and have it grow and divide it out or they'll collect it in the wild after a lightning storm. But most of the time, they don't know how to start their own fires. So
we really are meeting our ancestors in many ways.
In very many ways, yes.
Of course, probably it's difficult to keep enough dry here very long to maintain a fire.
Yes, out in the bush, it's quite wet. So having a covered lantern is key. So he says, yeah, if you wanted to check out those missionary records, I can show you to the office.
I appreciate that a great deal, yes. Dr. Augustine, why don't you come and look at these with me? You might spot something I don't.
Yes, I will come along with you.
And there probably aren't any spiders in there.
No, I'm fine with spiders. It is my dear friend who was not. I forgot my own friend's name.
Oh, good old Zebedee.
I forgot my own previous character's name.
Zeb's my real good friend. I remember his name.
Super close friend.
Yes, Zeb was the one scared of spiders. I am not. I am certified.
Yeah, the clerk says, "Oh, we sweep them out every day. It's fine." So if two of you go into the office and you can see, again, it's one of those prefab buildings, and this one is subdivided on the inside, so you can see at one end is a room that says Major Nichols' office, and but basically there's a records room that you're in, and each of you can give me a library use.
That is a hard success.
Very good.
Yes, that's a regular for me.
Records of His Majesty's Island Commissioner for the Andaman Islands. Tales reached me recently claiming that Cynthia Baxter, a medical missionary, had been kidnapped by a tribe of islanders living near her mission. The local natives say that these other tribespeople are not true Andamanese, but they speak a different language and also differ in appearance. A patrol was sent to investigate. Upon questioning the Orange tribesmen who live near the mission, the patrol received quite a different story. According to the local witch doctor, Miss Baxter was at first unwilling to accompany the Chochos, but after discussion with their headman, she agreed to accompany them and voluntarily entered the canoe. Miss Baxter returned unharmed the next day. Colonel Leslie Talbot, August 31st, 1918. Interesting. Very interesting.
Can I do a Cthulhu mythos to see if I've ever heard of the Chocho?
You certainly may.
I would like to do that as well.
Anybody may attempt if you have the right skill.
I got an 07. I'll spend 1 luck to make it an extreme.
There you go. Yeah. So you do recall in some of your readings seeing notations about these Chocho, and according to what you've read, they seem to be a primitive, and also according to reports, diminutive. They seem to be short-statured, but a primitive people.
They file their teeth into points.
Yeah, they seem quite. They're cannibalistic. They're cannibals, and they apparently worship dark gods that could be an extension of the mythos.
So I thought that they were local to the Himalayas, but I didn't realize they'd be all the way down here in the islands as well. Very dangerous tribe of people.
Dangerous.
Hated and shunned by most of the other tribes because they are, in fact, cannibals.
They returned Cynthia unscathed.
Apparently, yes. That seems very uncharacteristic. They should have eaten her. She must have impressed them somehow.
Maybe they made some sort of deal with her.
Oh, they had all the advantage. They had her in their hands. They could have just chopped her up and eaten her. But somehow, maybe Jesus did interfere and they let her go. Maybe faith has some merit. I don't know, but for some reason they released her, and it was just a single day.
I think that Xena would be something more akin to a connected Yankee in King Arthur's court, where she outwitted them using modern understanding.
We also now know that I thought that she was more of a religious missionary, but she's a medical missionary. So not so much preaching, but bringing modern medicine, or attempting to.
Could be both.
Yeah, I think for her it's inseparable.
Isn't she a nun? Was she a nun? Yeah, she was a nun.
Philip Baxter does recall in his Swiss cheese brain that his daughter had aspirations to become a nun, but had settled instead to kind of follow the life of Baxter's brother Julian, and while Julian is a Catholic priest and has had a long career of missionary work, Cynthia is doing work for the church as a missionary without actually being a nun. So she's gone almost all the way there. But it's been her passion for quite some time, as far as Philip can recall.
Right, and she had such admiration for Julian, which is why I've never told her something.
Well, we have a lot to worry about.
Yes.
I'm worried just about eating whatever they serve in this camp, but we might need whatever rations we brought, so I guess we should make nice and tuck in.
Yes, I might go talk to the major.
I'll come with you, Arlo, unless you want to do this alone, but I'm familiar too as well.
Yes, you can, yes. Come. The
It's
two
good to
military.
have a second pair of eyes on things, you never know.
Yeah, so me and Clifford being military men ourselves, we might be able to get something a bit more. And if push comes to shove, I can just use my skills as a psychologist. Try and talk him out of some answers.
And I'd like to explore Port Blair until it's time to gather again. Just learn the lay of the land.
I think I'll go with Philip and explore.
Same.
Okay. Dr. Long?
Oh, I do not want to be alone, so I will go.
Come with us. Yes.
I will go on the sightseeing.
Why don't you climb the fence and see what it's like?
Yeah, I'll be a advanced party. I'll go by myself out into the jungle and send you my new character sheet subsequently.
The new character sheet is located 25 yards outside the fence. Just go get it.
It's on that big hill of army ants.
Exactly. Yeah. So Cuthbert, Augustine, you guys go, and Major Nichols is in his office, and as you guys come up, his door has a window pane in it, so he can see people who approach his office, and he stands and gestures for you to come in. Come in, welcome.
Yes.
Getting tucked in, I see. Yes?
Yes.
Getting settled in. Jolly good. Excellent.
Yes, it almost feels homely. I think Cuthbert can agree. We saw our fair share.
It is a home indeed. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Gin. Yes, gin.
Yes. Why not?
He goes to his liquor cabinet and gets 3 glasses and pours out some very warm gin.
And maybe the 3 of us could pull up a sandbag, you see? Yes.
Well, yes. Have a seat.
Yes. Well, you must have some interesting things happen to you.
Well, it's quite dangerous living out in the frontier, but takes men of steel to do it. Men of steel, don't you know?
Oh, men of steel, yes. Yes, you look like a man with some steel, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, I assumed it would be years from now, after I've retired, that I'd be able to recount my career and have that career documented in a book that would sell throughout the empire. So definitely my good fortune to meet you. I assume you're an author, yes?
Yes, I am an author of sorts. Yes.
Excellent. Well, I am your subject. How can I help you?
Well, I would actually like to very briefly. This would help because it helped me learn a bit about this place. But the man who preceded you, Colonel Talbot, was it? Could you?
Yes. Oh, fine gentleman. One of the best commanders I've ever served under.
Yes. What happened to him?
Tragic. Yes, he suffered a fatal spider bite. Terrible.
How often does that happen to the people in the camp, I guess?
Oh, quite rare. Yeah, quite rare. The spiders are generally more afraid of you than they are of them. So typically they will just simply leave you alone. You can chase them off with a broom quite easily.
Yes. And after he died, you got promoted straight away, I assume?
Yes. Well, bittersweet, but right man, right job, don't you know?
Yes, I know, but you see, it's never mind.
Drink to Fort Blair.
Yes. Throughout all this, I am watching every movement he makes, every little bit of body language, just to see if there's.
So tell me, Major. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm drinking my gin.
Cuthbert. So tell me, Major. But before your transfer to here, what unit did you serve under?
Well, yes, it was spent time in Africa, and he talks about an African campaign that he was a part of.
Does it sound like he's pulling some accurate facts, or does it sound like he's kind of BSing?
Why don't you? Is Dr. Arlo? Is he British or English? I mean, is he American or English?
He is actually English, but obviously he lives in America and is an American citizen.
So Dr. Augustine can do a history roll with a bonus die because he's English, but Cuthbert, you can just do a regular history roll.
Yeah, I was. Oh my god, I got an 01 thanks to that.
I'll just let that ride.
Yeah, I mean, completely legit. Totally legit.
Okay.
The guy speaks like he actually lived it.
Okay, so don't
you believe it's because he did live it?
Yeah, it didn't seem rehearsed. Yeah, I would
No.
have picked up. Okay, and so that means he would have picked up on when I said pull up a sandbag. So yeah, okay.
And when you guys were deployed there, what was the rifle that you guys were mostly issued?
Well, the enlisted had their rifles, and so he talks about the enlisted men and the whatever the rifle is accurately. Talks about what they used, and that how they had sabers and sidearms.
All right, so he accurately describes the okay, all right,
very accurate.
We then will regale a tale from our time on the front line, just so that it doesn't feel like it's a one-sided conversation about war. And then I'll Major. Now that we've regaled tales from the war, are you sure there's been no issues with the camp? Any issues at all? Even minor. Everyone, you don't have to be proud of that. You don't have to bring your pride into it. It's fine. There's been issues. We're not going to judge you.
And he give me a persuade roll.
Where's my persuade? Oh, my persuade 70, and that's a 30. So that's a hard success.
Okay. So he smiles and he starts thinking, and the smile begins to fall, and
come on,
he was standing, and so then he kind of goes he kind of slumps into his chair and puts his glass down, and he says, well, I'm not proud to say, but we have had recently 2 deserters. 2 of the prisoners have left their post and taken their chances out in the jungle, and I'm afraid that the odds aren't good that they're going to survive. But I'm quite disappointed because I do what I can to provide a place for these men to work their time and earn their place back in society, but
what are their names?
Just isn't good enough.
What are their names? You have a tight-knit group. You say you care. What are their names?
Yes. Their names are, hold on, not provided by the game, but
yes, caring. As a caring major, you must
yes. One chap, Muhammad, is he goes by Muhammad, and the other is Veer.
Okay. Any reason why obviously they're prisoners, but why would you take your chances out there? You're much safer in here than there's got to be a reason they must want to leave, Major. No disrespect or anything, but there has to be some reason they'd want to go out in the dangers of the jungle.
Well, I suspect that they are trying to possibly commandeer a canoe and see if they could make it across the straits, but yes, highly doubt it. The natives are quite protective of their properties.
Yes, Major. This is for the book, actually. As it's cropped up from a couple of other things. What have you heard of the Cho-Cho? Local time?
I believe so. I think I believe that they are the natives over on the West Andaman.
Did anything flicker? I'm watching everything. Did it seem body language wise that?
I mean, why don't you give me a spot hidden?
Okay.
Could I be?
Or no, psychology. Give me a psychology. That's for reading people. Give me a psychology.
Well, I got a 50. I got a 53, which is a success.
Okay.
So.
And Cuthbert, did you want to do something?
Yeah, I wanted to put a keen eye on him as well.
Okay.
The spot hidden was a hard success.
Okay. Flip that to a psychology.
That roll.
Yeah.
Can I re-roll if it's?
Go ahead. You go right ahead.
Okay, here we go. And that's still a fail. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So, Arlo, with your successful psychology, yeah, he seems pretty, sincere in his attempt to recall the location of the Chocho tribe.
And to just before we get more into the gin and have a right old party here, how are you feeling, Major? How are you feeling? Surely it must be you've been here, what, 10 years, maybe 12, because you served under the previous commander, so.
Yes. Oh, jolly good. I feel fantastic. Quite proud of the work that I do here. It's leaving a real positive stamp on the Empire.
A real positive stamp that your men desert you.
Well, and don't include that in the book. I'm not very proud of when these men under my charge desert and leave. It's a bad stain. It's a bad stain, don't you know?
If you don't mind me asking, what would someone have to do to end up getting sentenced to here?
Well, you get your regular looters and thieves and murderers. Yes, we get the murderers here. But, definitely by the time they've spent their time here under these conditions and the labor, they're good men and ready for the society again.
Yes. But what about you? How did you end up here? There are always reasons for military men to be sent to the middle of nowhere. There's got to be a story behind that.
Why, it was a chance to make my name and mark and leave a stamp on the Empire.
Make your name out here.
When people think of Port Blair, they will certainly think of Major Nichols. Synonymous.
Well, I hope you're right, Major, but it doesn't look good, really, does it? Your men desert you.
Yeah, yes, yeah. That's not going to be in the book, though, right? Not going to be in the book?
People don't look too great around here. They don't look happy. They're not as cheery as you. They're not. I don't know. Are you compensating for something, Major? Because
I don't think I understand the question.
Come on. We're military. We've had some drinks. You've got to be something. It's just not. Doesn't feel right, Major.
I just wanted my father to be proud of me. That's all. Just that. And he proceeds to tell you his entire life story.
Yes, and after that, I will give him a hug, and I will make sure he has some more alcohol. And me and Cuthbert will leave, and I will be Cuthbert. We made far more progress than I wanted to.
Or just a little more for him in his glass. Make sure he has plenty. There you go.
All right. So for those who are strolling the greater Port Blair metropolis, there's a number of these prefab buildings. So you see things like there's a lot that are labeled barracks. There are a number of different outhouses scattered throughout the different areas. A few tents. There's a mess hall. There's a supply shed. The offices, which is where you saw Arlo and Cornelius went into the office building. And the fence line goes around. There are a couple of areas where they've engineered like a small platform and a ladder. So it's not everywhere, but there are a couple of spots on the fence where you could scale a ladder and get up onto a platform and kind of, have your look-see onto the into the green beyond.
Go ahead.
How regimented does this all seem? Are there bells or whistles to kind of like signal and change in the guard? Are there people?
So you're aware that this is a penal colony, but there doesn't actually seem to be any guards. You also don't see anybody carrying weapons. There are children here. You can see that some of the barracks house multiple families that live all under that single roof. So you get a sense because all of the British, i.e. white people, all of the British nationals, they all seem to have a similar pseudo-military uniform, but it's pretty casual. And it's basically like they're all dressed up in a version of olive drab uniform, in military terms, in modern military terms, we call it BDUs, but just an olive drab utility suit. The Indian nationals, the men, the adult men, they all have this like tan button-up shirt that has a number sequence on the back between their shoulder blades. And the numbers are all different for each of them.
And sorry, you go ahead.
There are adult females about here and there in these
adult females and children.
And they're colonists or they're
convicts colony, yeah.
I didn't think they sent families with prisoners to Australia, for example. I thought the families were stuck at home and the men were sent only.
I mean, there's female prisoners too.
But the families of the civil staff.
Some of these are families of the prisoners. Sometimes the families can volunteer to go with their husband and live at the prison colony with them.
And you said the majority of the prisoners were South Asian. They're Indian folk.
Yes. None of the prisoners are British.
I mean, it seems that the lack of where are they going to go? Obviously, they can't like swim to another. They're going to die if they leave the compound.
You get the sense that the fence is to keep wildlife out, right, not keep prisoners in.
But the overall atmosphere is pretty lax.
My guess is if there are any guards at all, it would be guarding the ships that come here and then leave to make sure that nobody gets on.
Yep. The docks are the only place that seems under any kind of security, and only when there's a boat, that there's any kind of security when there's a boat pulled up, and the docks are also the best maintained structure here in Port Blair.
The only place that's seen whitewash this season. Who's working by the mess tent?
Yeah, just some of the prisoners.
Just some inmates, okay. Quite a lonely spot.
Yeah, and they're not like working on any projects, right? Like this, like all they do is they kind of mill about here until a ship comes and they unload it.
Yeah, they have like little probably crafting and stuff that they do to help with some of the natives. They might help build, something or another, and then the natives will take it away. I mean, they do community service kind of stuff.
The idea is that they've been removed from society, so people there in society don't have to worry about these criminals. They can do whatever they want here.
And it's another little spot of the empire for the sun not to set on.
That's mighty important. Somebody has to be here to watch that sun go up and down.
See what foreign ships sail by and so on. Well, I'm not going to miss this outpost, I hope, until the first giant centipede crawls up my pant leg, and then I'm going to miss the settlement a lot. Let's hope we find Cynthia in some sound condition within the first day or so.
Indeed.
So do y'all want to interact with anybody, or what are y'all doing?
I wouldn't mind asking one of the staff their opinion of the major.
Oh, well, good man. Keeps the ship running, right. Keeps everything going on time.
And what is the administration workload around here like? What is it that you're all here?
Well, it's pretty light, just keep cargo in when it comes in, usually about 2-3 times a month. Keep the cargo up and going, settling any disputes, help try to educate the converted natives, that kind of thing.
Do you folks here at the port ever have run-ins with these Chocho people?
No, and there's a little bit of conspiratorial whisper. Oh, the Chocho! No, never. I've never even seen one. No, that's those are the boogeymen. No.
Are the Andamanese here wary of them? Did they talk about them at all?
Yeah, it's quiet. No one goes to West Andaman. That's that island is theirs. Yes.
I'm surprised the Empire doesn't go and smoke them out if they're such a hateful group.
Yeah, it's no one has gone to explore that island. No, for sure. Definitely stay away.
How long do most staff folks reside here? Do you get shuttled out every 3 or 5 years or something? It's
3-year tour. Yep, 3-year tour. Definitely, it's a good way to earn your stripes and get credit for officer school. Put in some time here. Definitely, all the staff have their eyes on Captain Bars. So, absolutely.
Yeah, if you could take the solitude and the major isn't a bad taskmaster, I guess a man could spend a worse few years in service.
Indeed. The major's the only one who loves it here, and I think we'll probably stay here till he dies.
We're going to need a hand or two, and the major's promised us assistance. Have any of you learned much Andamanese?
Well, it's my understanding that Sikander and Mabur, that they'll be assisting you guys, and Sikander is quite versatile with the language. Mabur, well, he can swing a machete pretty well.
I trust that's a necessary skill in these parts. It must grow like no one's business. Maybe we should introduce ourselves to Sikander and Mabur before dinner, if we're going to be entrusting our lives to them.
Oh, well, mess is about to start. If you, everyone will be here soon, so you can meet them then.
Brilliant. Yeah, if you point them out to us, or vice versa.
Yep. And as you guys begin to gather, and it seems like the whole town is kind of converging in on the mess hall. For most, it's just a pick up and go. They just grab their bowls and their tray and they head off somewhere else. But a lot come right inside, and so you meet a couple of gentlemen. So Sikander is both men are Indian. Sikander is he looks to be in his early 30s, and he's an attractive, handsome gentleman, and he speaks pretty good English as he makes your acquaintance and introduces himself as Sikander, and he's looking forward to assisting in whatever way that you need him to. And then his partner, Mabur, is he's older. He's probably in his mid 40s. He's taller and very broad shouldered. He's got a very long, dark beard, very long gray hair, and heavy set eyebrows and dark eyes. This guy he looks brutish, and he has he doesn't speak English with you guys. So as Sikander briefly speaks to him in Hindi and gestures to you guys, he just basically grunts and nods his head and takes his tray over to another area of the mess hall and sits down to start to eat. And Sikander says, he kind of chuckles and says, well, man, a few words, but Mabur is definitely someone we want to have with us in the jungle.
If you can communicate with the fellow, then that's all that's important. You know Absolutely. Him and the place, and we are ignorant travelers looking for another foreigner from far away.
Excellent. Well, eat up and get a good night's rest. We leave early in the morning. Oh, I don't know what this is for. I'll tie down my pack with it later.
Yes, sorry. I was in a bit of a rush and I saw you gentlemen speaking. Here's a tie. And an extra one for your friend. I don't know your names, but I only just got here. So.
Yes, very good. And I think this might be a good place to put a pin in this episode.
Right. Our players included Josh Harwood, Morgan Llewellyn, Holly Buteau, Stuart Lively, David Gasway, and myself, with John Hook as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.